Drag queens. Those who wear drag clothing and makeup to embrace, imitate, and often exaggerate female gender signifiers and gender roles for entertainment purposes. Typically participating in performances that consist of lip syncing, live singing, and dancing, doing drag has evolved into a major form of self-expression. The first drag queen noted in history is William Dorsey Swan, a former slave known as the Queen. In the 1880s, he hosted underground drag balls, often raided by police, resulting in arrests for being suspicious characters. Today, thanks to massively popular shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, drag has become one of the most significant ways to challenge the boundaries of gender and sexuality. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'm going to be sitting down with famous drag queens to learn the truth behind this unique and culturally significant phenomenon. Is performing in drag simply a way for these queens to publicly live their truest lives? Or is it just another fleeting fad that will dissipate the moment a new niche culture becomes more relevant? Is the drag community an encouraging and inclusive environment, serving as a safe haven for those who prefer unconventional forms of self-expression? Or is it actually a drama-centric community of money-hungry queens who aggressively conspire to steal the spotlight for themselves? Hello, Laganja Estranja.
Hi!
Honey Davenport.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Gigi Goode.
Hi,
hello.
God, I was not expecting company today.
Thank you so much for coming out and teaching me about the wondrous world of drag queens.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
What do you consider yourself? A drag queen, a performer?
I consider myself a recording artist who does drag. I guess if we're talking career-wise, you can call me a drag queen, but yeah.
I consider myself an artist. I feel like I'm a Jack or a Jackie of all trades.
Before we learn more about the wondrous world of famous drag queens, I want to take a quick moment to mention that Adam and Eve is sponsoring this video. I'm really thankful for sponsors helping to support this series so we can continue to make these videos during these uncertain times, especially when many of my videos have been demonetized, which causes them to be blacklisted, which prevents them from being recommended to new audiences who may be impacted by these topics. So adamandeve.com, in case you don't already know because you live under a rock, is an online retailer for erotic gifts, and they donate 20% of their profits to help fight the spread of HIV around the world, which I think is really f***ing cool. Use code PADILDO on adamandeve.com to get 50% off. That's right, 50% off one item, plus free shipping in the US and Canada. Please go support the f out of them for making this episode possible so I could pay my wonderful crew for the hundreds upon hundreds of hours that goes into making each one of these episodes. That's all I wanted to say. Now back to learning about the wondrous world of famous drag queens. What does being a drag queen entail?
Using your body as the canvas. So anybody who really uses their body to transform themselves into their art, in my opinion, that's what drag is.
How long have you done drag?
The first time I've ever performed in drag was around 8 years ago on my 14th or 15th birthday.
I've been doing drag since 2011. I started experimenting at Halloween times around college.
I have done drag for almost 12 years. 420 will be my 12th year, 420.
Oh, you celebration!
I wonder, was I stoned when I got drag the first time? Why did I think this was a good idea to push my balls here?
What pronouns do you prefer to use, and does that change when you're in or out of drag?
For me, as someone who identifies as non-binary, I don't really have a specific gender pronoun that I need to hear. I always say, as long as you're addressing me with kindness, it doesn't really matter. You can call me he, you can call me she.
All my friends call me Gigi and refer to me as she, her, but honestly, I just don't care. I think it's really a concept. It's really not something that I relate to at all. So I'm kind of always the same person, whether I've glued a piece of synthetic hair to my head or not.
Yeah. So you don't care if people say he or she or anything, or do you prefer just they?
I prefer your majesty.
I know most drag queens have an alter ego. Is that true for yourself?
I've really tried to be myself when I'm in drag because I found that myself is over the top as it is. I don't really need to add extras. I'm already extra enough.
So my whole persona is based off creating the kind of music that we listen to and hear in our queer spaces, not just lip sync performing to it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because that is how I have paid my mother bills.
Gigi is like the dumbest girl on the face of the planet. Like I as well as Gigi, I feel like we're very similar in and out of drag. Got zero concept of direction or basic math.
So much about doing drag is about confidence. Have you always had confidence, or is that something that you developed more with your drag persona?
When I first started, I wasn't as confident. I did grow up in musical theater, so I did have that natural showboat ability. But truly putting on the wig and all the gigs, it allowed me to take it to that next level.
It's hard for me to get up on stage in front of people out of drag and not be shaky and scared, but as soon as I have put on a wig, an outfit, and some heels, and a full face of makeup, somehow I transform into somebody who's not my normal self, so I can just do anything.
Do you remember the first time you dressed in drag with the intention of it being drag?
I thought I looked so cool though. I wanted to be like a glamorous version of an orc from Lord of the Rings. I painted my face and then like put a like white stripe down it. And I was just like, I wanted to look like I was created from a tree, because I definitely smoked some today.
That's right, yes!
I was 14 years old and I had just ordered my first lace front wig, and it was platinum blonde and very, very, very long. And again, I was trying to look at a picture of Iggy Azalea and paint my face like hers and just stared at myself in the mirror, and then I took it off, went to bed, went to school, and then did the same thing every single night.
And that's how you kind of built confidence, is just looking at yourself in the mirror, doing this for yourself and only yourself?
I just remember this like light inside of me turning on and being like, wow, this is just the most incredible feeling.
What's been your most awkward performance?
I had a little top malfunction. And that was put on a highly gossiped site in West Hollywood at the time.
Was it like a red carpet rolling out?
I think it's more like bubble gum.
Oh.
It wasn't the full enchilada, it was just a spicy side treat, if you know what I mean.
Got it. A little bit of chewed bubble gum.
Yeah.
From my understanding, there's a hot debate amongst the drag community about making your own outfits versus buying your outfits. Is there one way that you skew, or how do you see that debate?
Does Beyonce make her own costumes?
I don't know.
Okay, good. That's all I gotta say.
Should I know?
RuPaul don't do her own makeup, but she's the most notable drag queen in the whole entire world. So while I do celebrate girls who sew, let me tell you, that is some hard I am not trying to do that, but you know, I don't see them like producing their own tracks or directing their own music videos. I'm just saying.
So you channel your energy elsewhere.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Learning how to make something for yourself is so much more rewarding than just buying something and putting it on your body because it looks pretty. You know, like if you can put something pretty on your body that you made and that nobody else in the world owns, it is just like the best feeling in the world.
I've never experienced that personally, and I didn't realize that would probably feel so rewarding.
It's like a drug.
Yeah.
It just gets you high. It's like, you know, we'll get you behind a sewing machine and you can figure it out. Absolutely.
Thank you. Today you're going to teach me at some point later off camera.
All right, let's bring out the sewing machine, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you feel about the way drag queens are represented in pop culture?
Nowadays, it's kind of like really awesome to be a drag queen. Like they kind of want to know, are you like more of a Trixie Mattel or a Sharon Needles? Like they have different kinds of queens to associate with and different kinds of representation. It's pretty dope being a drag queen in pop culture now.
You are seen as a celebrity of some sort rather than someone to be
Isn't that
concerned
like,
about?
Strange that like I'm famous for putting my junk behind my body.
And tucking them up where they came from. How has your experience as a drag queen changed since entering the spotlight on RuPaul's Drag Race?
Somehow, in a way, it doesn't feel any different because again, I've never, ever in my life done drag for anybody else besides myself. And I don't intend on changing that.
Everything about this like random rush into reality celebrity is a dream come true. And the biggest part of it that I love the most is that, you know, I'm from a very disenfranchised community. I grew up very poor in West Philadelphia, and I never imagined I could do things like direct my own music videos or create my own perfume. That is all something that I've been very privileged to do since this experience.
You know, being in the spotlight definitely came with its difficulties. In the beginning of my career, I was not necessarily the most celebrated queen from my season. It really depressed me. In fact, I went through a very dark time of, you know, alcoholism, because unfortunately I didn't have the skills that I do now to turn to. It was really dark and really scary, and I thought, as an artist, what is all this for? What is all this social media numbers and algorithms and when I post and I don't post? When you put yourself out there on a platform, you have to be willing to take the good and the bad. And that's something that Drag Race taught me. I wanted to go through that experience, and I wanted it to all be cotton candy and sickening and all the world love me and be rich right away. And that's not how the cookie crumbled. I get emotional just because it's made me who I am. And I just don't think that I would be the open-hearted, confident person that I am today had I not had that struggle.
Some of the more judgmental people will say that drag queens only do what they do for attention. How true do you think that is?
Does anybody only ever do something for attention? No, people don't typically have just one motive for things that they put their whole life into. Like I put my drag into my drag. But do I like definitely require, desire attention? I mean, I did not push my balls into my body for anything else
but attention.
I love attention.
So part of it's true.
I really love attention. You've never felt the feeling of being on stage with an entire room of people clapping for you. It's just like, it's an unexplainable feeling.
How does this feel? Woo! Gigi! Woo!
I mean, there's only like 8 people here. Thank you.
You're used to like Staples Center crowds?
Not yet. That's terrifying. But I mean, thank you all, by the way. But it's even that. I just started, sweating and getting a little blush. It's just like a crazy feeling.
Do I think there are attention whores in the community? Yes, I'm one of them. I mean, I think most drag queens are. We love attention. It's like Tinkerbell, when you clap for her, she lives. Well, you give us attention and we live, honey.
And I don't think it's necessarily bad to want attention. I feel like we're constantly being told that if someone wants attention, then they're not worthy of having it, and that only people who accidentally receive attention are deserving of it.
Are there some of us who feed off of it more and will go the extra mile to get that extra amount? Sure. But I think ultimately, again, just like love, just like food, water, home, shelter, attention and needing that's just human nature.
Bradley Owen wants to know how the hell you use the toilet when you're tucked.
These are tucking panties. They're called tuck it ups, and they're revolutionary because they're changing the way not only drag queens but also trans people live their daily lives. They're a really, really comfortable alternative to things like duct tape on your penis. This is the front.
Yeah.
And once you put your balls up and you pull it all back, it has enough room to hold all of it all the way up. And at the end of it, it just looks like a little thong. And then like everything's all hidden.
It takes a long time. It's just like a lot of layers you gotta take off, use the toilet, try and do it as briskly as possible, and then you just have to take your time and get it back on. It's really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
And wash your hands, bitch, because who knows what is festering down there under 6 layers of joints for several hours.
True.
Sweating and...
True.
I do not pee when I am in drag. It just doesn't happen.
Damn, your bladder must be like the size of your head.
No, baby. Everything, well, except for one thing, is very petite. All this whole, you talking about I have huge organs, how dare you? No.
Has doing drag ever affected any of your relationships?
The femininity that comes with drag is definitely difficult for a lot of gay men. I think especially because I am non-binary and I do identify more on the feminine side and prefer the feminine pronouns. Well, gay guys are into men. So if I'm somewhere in between, I'm not really a man, and I'm not really a woman. So that means I have to kind of find somebody who either identifies as bisexual or who is open, to this idea of gender fluidity. He'll come when he's supposed to, you know, I believe in it, and until then, mama, there's broop. So, you know, we make it work.
You will have absolutely no problem. In fact, you're probably gonna get one from this. I guarantee it. Someone in the comments is commenting right now that you gotta take her.
Please slide into this DM, baby.
Do you hope to be a drag queen until the day you die?
Even if I didn't want to be, I know I will be.
Yeah, it's not a choice.
I've always been a drag queen, so
Yeah.
I don't ever see that ending. You know, I would,
Right.
if I ever decide to be buried rather than cremated, I want to be buried in full drag.
I think what I do is just very physically demanding on the body. And so ultimately, do I want to do that for the rest of my life? No. I mean, does a football player want to get run into over and over until the end of his life? No. He does it while he can, and then he hopefully either has enough money to retire or he figures out another strategy.
What's your least favorite part about doing drag?
Shaving my back. That is really hard.
Yeah, what do you do? Do you get like a back scratcher and put a razor in it?
I kind of like cry until I meet a cute boy who will do it for me.
That always works.
You know,
People just take things way too seriously, and it's so frustrating when people can't look past what somebody has said, even if it was just something so stupid and
Right.
pointless, and just like understand that there's nothing serious going on.
Right.
Like, really, RuPaul would say this all the time. If cameras weren't rolling and somebody was crying on stage, she would say, hey, it's not that serious. Like, look at everybody around you, look what we're wearing. You know, Michelle Visage's hair is like half fake. So it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just for fun.
Your whole reason for getting into it is because it brought you joy in the first place. And some people allow that to completely be lost, and it brings them a lot of negativity because they focus on that negativity.
Stop treating your art as something that is bringing you stress and anxiety and invalidation, and, you know, turn it around and have it bring you joy. You know, like, once you start doing your art for you and nobody else is only when it starts to get recognized and appreciated.
What do you think the biggest misconception about drag queens is?
You know, I think people think all drag queens are the same. They're gay, they're flamboyant, they must shave their legs, they must be bottoms, they must be sissies. And, you know, I was even surprised when I started drag, realizing like, oh no, there's plenty of drag queens that have hairy legs and are tops and are drinking beer and acting manly. And I mean, you know, it's just like any other art form or job. We're not all the same at all. I mean, you can look at us and tell we're different, but there's also a difference beneath all of this too.
I was a guest on RuPaul's Drag Race in 2018 for just an episode. Cameron Michaels turned me into a flawless queen.
Gorgeous.
I was Kelly Michaels.
Absolutely.
But I feel like I kind of failed in terms of walking in those heels down that runway. Can you help redeem Kelly Michaels?
Well, do you have a pair of heels around?
We did not mess around. So they fit flawlessly.
Yes, incredibly, impeccably. If you
Okay,
will.
I'll. Oh, there we go.
Not
there
too
we
bad,
go.
not too bad, not too
at
bad.
all. No, I feel good.
The thing that I always envision when I'm walking is that I am walking on a tightrope. It's just one foot in front of the other.
Okay.
And then you stop at the end of the stage, you give a little turn, and then you walk back. And then this is the last chance the judges get to see you, so you just will give a little pose, maybe like eat your hair or something, and then you walk off.
All right.
Let's give it a go. Roll the music. Oh,
I don't know what happened at the end, but how was the rest?
I can see in your face you're really feeling it.
I am feeling it, but am I looking it is the question.
The last part kind of ruined it for me, but the whole walk was pretty good.
Okay, yeah?
It was
Pretty
a lot,
good.
yeah, much better than what national television saw you doing.
Thank you.
Which,
Thank you, Gigi Goode. You have transformed my life. I am no longer the
course.
laughing stock within my own brain, which is fantastic.
oh, within your, oh, that's so sad.
I actually have a parting gift for you, a Best Interviewer shirt, which you could get at padildoshop.com. But for you, I will ship this to you for free, my lovely queen.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me!
Not kidding,
Not
and it looks
the
fantastic.
dildo shop.
Padildoshop.com.
Oh,
Not to be,
Padildo Shop.
yes. Not to be
I see what you
confused with the
did there.
Pennsylvania dildo shop.
I see what you did there.
All right, you got 5 seconds to shout out or promote anything you want directly into camera. Go.
Check out my new YouTube series, Muse Me with Robert Heyman.
My YouTube, my Instagram, and my Twitter are all Honey Davenport Official. Check out all of my dope, amazing art I'm sharing with the world.
Things are very hard right now in the world. Just remember to take care of yourself and those around you. If you subscribe to Anthony Padilla, I will personally pay you each $100.
Whoa! That's great!
That's an empty promise, but you'll get really great content. Probably $100 worth of it.
Thank you so much, Laganja Estranja. I feel like I understand the wondrous world of famous drag queens just a little bit more.
Well, good. I'm glad I could help inch your way in there.
And I didn't just dip my toe in there, my whole foot rammed its way in there. After spending the day with these famous drag queens, I've come to realize just how important it is to have an outlet in which you can be your most authentic self. In a world where negative labels are placed on most things, who are we to blame these drag queens for flipping the norms and making a world entirely for themselves in which acceptance, confidence, and creativity are prioritized? See you later, bye guys.
Press a like.
And you like to show off your best assets.
Well, I do have several. You know, this mug today is definitely one of them. I have another one over here around the corner. You might have heard of her.
Oh my God, what's her name?
That's the Earthquake Shake and Take Bake, Mama.
I know we're talking via some kind of satellite transmission, but I felt that through the airway.
Well, God bless you, honey. I hope it gave you a little facelift.
It did.
Isn't it your turn to stand up and do a little spin around for me?
Oh, you want a little one of the? Oh,
Honey,
okay.
it's 2020.
You know what?
We gotta go both ways now.
I know it all. Okay, I know what they do.
Let me see.
I know it.
Oh, wow. Okay, Shantae, you stay. Shantae,
I am
you
staying.
stay.
I am never leaving. Thank you. I'm gonna give a round of applause for myself. So.
You should pat
Thank
yourself
you.
on the back, honey.